I'm going to read is from the We Are Not Numbers book, The Voices of Gaza's Youth. There's nothing more powerful than reading first-hand accounts from people. These stories extend from 2015 all the way through to 2023, and it just gives you an insight, horrific, heart-wrenching insight into lives of Palestinians. So this story is from 2023, October 2023, and it's Echoes of Gaza from Afar by Basma Amaza. This is her words. On the 7th of October at 1 p.m. Malaysia time, which is 5 hours ahead of Palestine, I reached for my phone, eager to learn whether my friend Noor has successfully completed her final exam of the year. I instantly saw that my WhatsApp feed was flooded with messages, each more shocking than the last, about Gazans fighting beyond the confines of Gaza, our blockaded homeland. Messages poured in, recounting a miraculous breakout from the prison in which I'd grown up. But very soon, the news became more alarming and sinister. People had been killed or taken hostage. The Israeli government vowed brutal revenge. With shaking hands, I quickly dialed my mother. My heart pounded. What's happening? Are you safe? Her responses emerged only as fractured sounds. The internet connection in Gaza had been severed. I placed my hand over my heart. It felt as if it might burst out of my chest. I'd witnessed 5 previous attacks on Gaza from my birth in 2001 until I travelled to Malaysia in 2021, where I am now living. But this time, I intuitively understood that something was different. 7th of October didn't come out of nowhere. The world seems to have forgotten that for 16 years, 2 million Palestinians in Gaza have struggled under a brutal military siege. We've been cut off from the rest of the world and imprisoned within its borders. Severe shortages of life-saving medicine, food, electricity, and clean water are routine and make life in Gaza unbearable. As a result, young people like me began making life-changing decisions. I resolved to pursue my bachelor's degree in Malaysia, a world away from my family and homeland. In childhood, I learned about our history from my grandfather, Salim. I recall how my brothers and I used to sit in a circle by candlelight at night, listening to his stories. Our tragedy, the Nakba, began in May 1945. The same time, obviously, Jersey was liberated from 5 years of Nazi occupation. He told us while he was harvesting his olive trees, Zionist terror gangs forced our families out of their homes, killing men, women and children, prompting others to flee. Those who stayed witnessed the foundations being laid for the discriminatory policies we see today. My grandfather urged us never to stop sharing these stories of Palestine. Over the past 2 years, during lunch breaks at my university in Malaysia, where students from all over the world study, my classmates and I often engage in discussions about everything from culture and religion to politics. These are precious opportunities to share my grandfather's stories and my own perspective on the Palestinian situation. In all these discussions, I passionately insist on our right to defend ourselves from repression and to challenge the occupation of our land. In particular, the word apartheid, a crime against humanity, often features in these conversations, as it describes the framework that governs my people's daily lives. If my grandfather were still alive, I think he would be proud to hear me express these ideas. On Monday morning, 9th of October, I received devastating news. A fellow Gazan student in Malaysia who had returned home to visit his family had been killed. In my shock and grief, my brain flooded with memories of the Centres for Learning where I'd attended training and leadership courses now surely reduced to rubble. The following day at 3 a.m. in Gaza, my family received a grim command: evacuate immediately. Knowing what was to come, they left with nothing but their souls, since no means of transportation was available. My mother, despite being disabled by osteoporosis, embarked on the journey on foot, every step an agonising ordeal. Yet their determination carried them to a makeshift shelter by morning. I tried to contact them, choking on my words. I should be there with you, enduring this together. My mother's voice quivered, hoarse from the toxic fumes that had engulfed the Gaza Strip. You're safe, my daughter. Promise me you won't stop telling the world about Palestine. The connection dropped, and that was the last time I heard her voice. Later that day, the news came that my home had turned to ashes. Unable to even blink, I stared at the news feed on my phone. I saw 19 years of memories, every past birthday, late night chats on my bedroom balcony, conversations with my mother, hot cups of tea, laughing with my 3 siblings, and tears of fright soaking my pillow. During harrowing nights of bombardment, in less than a minute, my entire neighbourhood had been destroyed, taking with it all the joys and sorrows of my past. As the hours marched on, entire families were obliterated by airstrikes. The Sabat family in Beit Hanun, the Abu Dak family in Khan Yunis, the Al-Dawes family in Zaitun, the Shaban family in Nassar, the Abu Bakr family in Zawada. On the 12th of October, after witnessing 5 days with no news of my family, I suddenly received a long WhatsApp message from my mother with communication so unreliable I have no idea when this message was written. Here is what she said. I am a Palestinian mother who has lived through many wars in beloved Palestine. This war is different. It's the ugliest and the deadliest. The Israeli forces are targeting hospitals, and only Shifa remains. We don't know if it will be the next target. They've bombed mosques and universities, used phosphorus and deadly gases, and forced the evacuation of villages and cities to the south. UNRWA is setting up tents on the outskirts of Khan Yunis for those fleeing the bombing. We don't know what will happen after everyone migrates to the south. Gaza has become a city of ghosts, with a stench of death everywhere, piles of bloody rubble and dust, and endless wailing. We're hungry, thirsty, and sick, since Israel is withholding medicine, cooking gas, bread, electricity, and all the necessities of life. We can only say there is no power or strength except through Allah, thanking Him for keeping us alive. We're sleeping on the streets or in overcrowded schools meant for 1,000 but hosting over 7,000. We don't know what awaits us next. Tears streamed down my cheeks. I whispered softly, "Mama, please stay with us." An urgent desire to embrace her overwhelmed me. I am here and safe today because of her. There is tremendous support for Gaza in Malaysia, with electronic billboards on the streets offering prayers for Palestine and demonstrations demanding an end to the war and delivery of humanitarian aid. Still, even when I surrendered to sleep at night, the gnawing sensation that I have betrayed my people persists. I've slept just a few hours since the assault began, and the face that looks back in the mirror is marked by dark circles under my eyes and a pale yellowish complexion. All I want now is to hear my mother's voice, but I am here in Malaysia doing the only thing I can, writing these thoughts and memories. They are never forgotten. Physically, I reside in Malaysia, but in my heart and soul, I am forever rooted in Gaza. Basma first went to Malaysia to study business administration in March 2022. With the exception of her brother, who made it to Ireland, the rest of her family is in northern Gaza. That was correct of 2023, which Israel has targeted for cleansing. They tried to leave, she says, but they are caged in from all sides. Thank you for listening.